Officer Lieutenant Todd Falde.
This is it.
Yeah, hi, Lieutenant. It's Dr. Busey and Jennifer Franklin Prescott. We had the pleasure of meeting with you at the Lee County Attorney's Office.
Yes, sir. I remember.
Yeah, I wanted to briefly bring to your attention that we were within our right because the bill of cost that we had presented spelled out, quote-unquote, directly payable to Apperly Wilkinson. And of course, the Lee County Attorney is the attorney for Kenneth M. Wilkinson. So I wanted to ask you what you suggest, because we were confused as to the presence of the sheriff when clearly we were within our right to satisfy the 2430 as we had been directed by the bill of cost, which had been signed by the attorney for Mr.
Okay, well, as far as the Sheriff's Department is concerned, we were there at their request.
Okay.
I mean, that was their request that we come, and that's why we were there.
Right, but you probably
and that actually, ends the involvement with the Sheriff's Department is concerned. We received a call, and we responded to that call, which is what we're entitled to do. Our responsibility is to do.
Correct. Did they state any reason to you why they called you?
They just had some concerns that there may be problems, and they wanted to make sure that there was no problems.
But can you be not vague or not ambiguous? I mean, what was the problem? I mean, we have a problem. Yes, we have a problem satisfying the 2430 and the threat of a fraudulent sale of property and extortion. So by not being able to pay the 2430.
Okay, well, I don't want to debate that with you because I understand. I mean, we went through that while we were there. All I can tell you is, just like any other call that the Sheriff's Department receives, and they were concerned that there may be problems, and that's why we showed up. I mean, I understand about your paying the fines and stuff, or the costs and stuff. I understand that, but that's between you and the county attorney's office.
Right. It was between. I concur with you wholeheartedly. However, they made it your business to be there, and you are, of course, the keeper of the peace, and we are trying to keep the peace, and we've been threatened being escorted out of the building upon another attempt to satisfy that 2430, which is publicly recorded. So basically I'm seeking a constructive solution to a problem of satisfying this without being again in the...
Did you send it to Atlanta, Georgia, like the attorney had told you to?
No, that's part of this conversation, to let you know that it states right there on that particular bill of cost that Mr. David M. Owen read, directly payable to Wilkinson. So since Wilkinson is represented, it would not be proper to pay it to him. So that's exactly the point. It's entirely erroneous and deceptive to say we have to pay that to the appellate court. And you are probably quite well trained. It's an adversarial system. The court wants nothing to do unless there's a problem with the satisfaction of a judgment. So we were totally within our right as pro se parties who are not represented to make this payment. So we're just seeking a solution to not be in the same situation again where we are threatened with improper conduct and being escorted out of the building.
My other understanding was through what we dealt with was that they've instructed you that any thing you need to do, any kind of dealings you need to do with them, needs to be done in writing. They would take any kind of information So when you were there, that's what they told us, that you were instructed.
It's a nonsense proposition. Nobody can. It is de facto refusal to accept the payment. When the court spoke and said you need to pay $24.30, there's nothing to be written about. The issue is payment. So it's another.
Well, and like they told you, though, they can't accept that money there. It has to go to the DCA appellate court.
No, it does not. On its face.
Okay,
So,
sir, I can't argue with it because I don't know.
right, but we're telling you, you're supposed to be the keeper of the peace, and I'm trying to be constructive. You're supposed to be the keeper of the peace, and the document on its face says what it says. So I'm bringing to your attention, as a party to this apparent conflict or problem, that they are misrepresenting what the 11th Circuit itself, it's FRAP 39, that's the rule. You pay it directly to the party that's specified on the bill of cost, and that's Mr. Wilkinson. So I'm giving you notice that they are concealing the truth, which appears on the face of the document. So, of course, you are a fact finder here, and we're letting you know that the facts are misrepresented, that we are being escorted to enforce or extend an extortion scheme. And the extortion is they want to take our property for not paying this $24.30. So I just want to be sure that you understand we are within our right, and I need to pay this. So, and I don't want to face the same situation, which is based on misrepresentation to you and to us. And it's clearly evidenced on the face of this document, which is document 365. It's a bill of cost. It says, quote unquote, and I'll be glad to send you a copy, directly payable to Applee Wilkinson. We called the 11th Circuit after that incident, and they gave us that very information, that we were within our right to pay it directly to Applee Wilkinson. It's complete nonsense to send us to the appellate court.
Okay, well then what you need to do is put that in writing, that you contacted the appellate court and with the name of the person that you talked to, and put it in writing that this is who you talked to, and then take that written correspondence to the property appraiser's office, because that's what they've asked you to do, is anything in writing, and then they can then, I'm assuming, respond to you in writing too, that of what's going on. And this is, and if you do everything in writing, then there's a record of it. It's not hearsay. I mean, people aren't, misrepresenting anything. You can say, this is who I talked to in the District Court of Appeals, and this is what they told me, and you put that in writing and give the property appraisers a chance to respond to it. And that way, if it does go back into court, you can show the judge, here's the written steps or whatever, here's written proof of what I did, and they wouldn't accept my money.
Right, you already witnessed to a refusal to accept this. So there's a direct judgment which was recorded in the federal court in Fort Myers as the final mandate. There's one thing to do, pursuant to written instructions, to pay it directly to Applee Wilkinson. Because he's represented by an attorney, Mr. Owen, it's directly payable to him. There's nothing to talk. It's the gospel by the court. It came down from the appellate court. It was recorded in the United States District Court.
Mr. Mercy, I can't debate that with you all day. I mean, I understand what you're saying, and I was there when you explained it to them, and I'm just going to repeat what they said because I don't know. That's between you and them. But if you come back to their office and they call us again, I don't know if they are, then we're going to respond just like we would with any complaint.
Okay. Fair enough. We exchanged some constructive thoughts here. What is your fax number or your email?
Sir, I don't want any of that paperwork because I'm not investigating that. It's not a crime. I'm not going to investigate.
Okay.
It.
I'm asking you then officially to investigate this.
I can't. It's not a crime, sir.
I'm telling you, I can give you the specific. I'm also telling you this is additional information. There's two publicly recorded documents, one in Collier County and one in Lee County.
Okay, and here's what you can do if you want. If you feel we have an economics crime unit, I'm not in charge of the economics crime unit. They would investigate certain crimes like this if you think it's a crime. But you would have to call the main sheriff's station, and then they can put you in contact with the economics crime unit, and they would investigate it if they felt that they needed to.
Right, and I appreciate that comment. That is further backed by the forgery of 2 land parcels, which we had specified to Mr. Owen. So this is just another incident of extortion of money and land. Mr. Wilkinson, and this has been in litigation for years, forged at least 2 land parcels on the public record. So I appreciate that comment. But we will follow up, and of course everything has been put in writing in the courts. And I want to make you aware that this matter, including this extortion incident, is part of United States of America, ex-rel versus United States of America. So there's an ongoing case, racketeering case, against, for example, defendant Wilkinson. So you witnessed a particular incident and or aspect of that racketeering complaint in federal court, and that's why I wanted to bring it to your attention too.
Okay, well, feel free to call our economics crime unit, and like I said, they're good about investigating things like that, and that's where you need to go from here if you think there was a crime committed against you. Okay?
All right, Lieutenant.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.